Hello everybody, this is Autobot Mike 18 here with another Avengers related video. And in this video, again I'm making another one because I still cannot stop thinking about this movie. I want to talk about some of the best scenes of the Avengers. Now that the movie's been out for almost 2 weeks, I can start releasing more spoiler related videos, but this is probably one of the only ones I'm going to do. So just giving you guys a heads up warning, there is clearly going to be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this video, because I will spoil the whole entire movie if you haven't seen it. I really will. And I just want to let you guys know that, about the spoiler warning, and then I'm going to talk about some of the funny scenes in the movie, just a little bit about the funny scenes, and then I want to talk mostly about some of the action scenes in this movie. Anyway, some of the funny scenes in this movie. Here's something that's really on the top of my head, that everyone thinks was the absolute funniest scene in the movie, and I really didn't think it was all that funny. I mean, it was funny. I mean, I laughed, but it was nothing to say it was the funniest scene in the movie. I thought that there were scenes that were possibly funnier. It's the scene where Hulk picked up Loki after Loki was trying to tell him that, oh, I'm a god and everything, and how dare you try to whatever. And then Hulk just starts smashing him. He starts throwing him all over the place with like one hand, and then he throws him on the ground. That, the first time I saw it, the audience erupted with laughter. They laughed for like how long did it? They laughed for like 15 seconds long. And I missed what Hulk said, and that kind of annoyed me. And then I missed what Loki did right during that scene after Hulk started walking away. And then I saw it the second time. I heard what Hulk said. Hulk said puny god. That was kind of funny. That made the scene funnier. And then I really listened closely, and then you see the camera zooming out, and you see Loki on the ground, and he's breathing heavily. I thought that made it funnier. I heard Loki's breathing. Because the first time I didn't hear it because people were laughing crazy at that scene. But that wasn't my most funniest scene in the movie. It did get me to laugh, but I thought the scene where Hulk punched Thor just out of nowhere, and then Thor goes flying off camera, I thought that was more funny, just a little bit, but then there were other scenes that were hilarious. I also liked the scene where Nick Fury was talking to Loki about the ant in the boot. He was doing that when Loki was in prison. I thought that was nice because they talked about that in the beginning of the movie. And I also liked all of the Tony Stark scenes where, because Tony Stark would make a joke or he would say something funny throughout the whole entire movie. That's why I said that Tony Stark was one of my favorite characters in the movie. I also liked that one scene where Thor was talking about Loki. They were on the helicarrier, and Thor was saying how Loki's my brother. And then Black Widow says, he killed 80 people in 2 days. And then Thor says, he's adopted. I laughed hysterically at that. That was probably one of my most funniest scenes of the entire movie. I really liked that. It was a clever line for Thor. I thought that was very funny. And then I liked some of the scenes where Agent Coulson wanted to get his card signed by Captain America. And then they're talking, and then he says, oh, they're vintage. In one scene, he's talking to Captain America about that. I thought that was funny, with the vintage Captain America cards. And that's pretty much it. There were more funny scenes, but I really want to talk about the action scenes in this movie. That's what I really, really want to talk about. If I think of any other funny scenes throughout the movie, I'll let you guys know during this video. Anyway, here was what really got me interested into this movie. Like, the first scene, I was attached to this movie. I knew it was going to be more awesome than I thought it was going to be. When Loki comes into the S.H.I.E.L.D. base through the Tesseract, and then he just starts wiping out agents he starts shooting them with his scepter, and then he starts stabbing agents. They're firing at him, and then he takes control of Hawkeye, and then he takes control of Dr. Selvig and some of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and then he takes the Tesseract, and then they get in the truck. And then Agent Hill is chasing them, and then Loki's shooting cars with his scepter, and Hill's trying to stop him, and then Nick Fury's in the helicopter. He's shooting at the car with the pistol. I thought that was awesome. And then right at the end of that scene, cue the Avengers theme. It's the from the score of the Avengers. My favorite from the whole entire score. I really like, and that score starts playing. That song starts playing, and then you see the title, the Marvel's The Avengers, pop up on the screen. I absolutely loved it. I got completely interested into this movie. As soon as I heard that theme at the end of that scene, I knew it was going to be the best movie of the summer, the best movie of the year, and that's probably what it's going to be. But anyway, I absolutely loved that scene in the movie. Loved it. What did I like next? Here's my all-time favorite scene of the whole entire movie. Besides that first scene, this was my all-time favorite scene in the movie. But when the camera goes from, it's in the New York City battle, camera goes from Iron Man, he's shooting at that big Chitauri ship, that the one that I said looks like the ships from Transformers 3, the big one. He's shooting at it, and then Black Widow, I think, was helping him. I forget what she was doing in that part. And then the camera goes to Hawkeye, and he's shooting Chitauri with his arrows, and then it goes back to Iron Man. Iron Man lands on the ground, and then Captain America is taking out Chitauri, and then Iron Man is helping him, and then he shoots a repulsor blast, I think it was a repulsor blast, at Captain America's shield. It reflects off Captain America's shield and hits some Chitauri and just takes him out. I loved that scene. That was probably one of the best shots of the whole entire movie, was that one thing that Iron Man did. He shot the repulsor blast off Captain America's shield, made that noise, and hit the Chitauri. I thought that was awesome. And then it goes to Hulk and Thor on one of those big ships I said look like the ships from Transformers 3 again, and then they're just wiping out Chitauri. I thought that was great. That was my favorite scene of the whole entire movie. It had the most action, I thought, and it showed all of them doing something, contributing to the New York City battle. I loved it. And right before that, the starter of that scene was where the camera went around in the circle showing all the Avengers. Hulk does the roar. Captain America gets his shield ready. Black Widow has the gun. Hawkeye gets his bow and arrow ready. I absolutely loved that scene as well. Let me think what else. Obviously, the scene in Germany was like the first real action scene between the Avengers and Loki, where Captain America fights Loki, and then Iron Man comes flying in and shoots that repulsor blast at Loki. I thought the battle between Captain America and Loki was really nice. Until Iron Man came in and shot him with that repulsor blast, and Loki surrendered. I thought that was great. And then the scene following that, where the forest fight between Thor and Iron Man, I thought that was great. Thor just took his hammer, and then he shot that electricity at that lightning at Iron Man, and it gave Iron Man power, and then he attacked Thor. That was great. And then Iron Man is flying with Thor, and then they're going across that mountain, and they're skidding across, and they come back, and they're still fighting. And Captain America comes in and throws his shield, and then Thor takes his hammer and then hits the shield, creating that epic kind of like explosion, kind of sonic boom thing. And I thought that was absolutely great. I loved that forest scene. That was probably another one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie. And then other parts of the New York City battle I thought were great were when Captain America, and this was also kind of one of my the funny scenes, I forgot to mention this. Captain America is giving orders to the Avengers, telling them where to go, what to do in the battle, and he tells Hulk to just smash. And then Hulk, immediately, right after that, you see Hulk doing what Captain America told him to, smashing. And he just starts taking out Chitauri. He jumps up in the air, hits the ships, and hits the Chitauri ships, and then he jumps on the building, does like a spin, and then like hits the Chitauri with his elbow, and then like grabs one. I think he grabbed one and threw him into the other building, and just, oh, I loved that scene. Hulk was so awesome in this movie. And then my other favorite scene was when the Hulk scene, like I said before, was when him and Thor were on the Chitauri ship. I really liked that Hulk scene as well. And then, obviously, when Hulk just jumped up, caught Iron Man, and then fell back down. I loved that scene. That was one of the last scenes in the movie. Absolutely loved that scene. But the whole New York City battle was great. And I've said this in a previous video. I love the scene with Hawkeye, where Hawkeye shot the arrow at Loki, and Loki just caught out of nowhere, and then it blows up. Loki goes flying, and he lands on Stark Towers, and then that's when Hulk came in and did where he picked him up, and just threw him all over the place. Thought that was great. I love that Hawkeye scene. And then Black Widow had her great scenes too, when she was with Hawkeye and Captain America on that kind of like bridge. That was pretty nice. She took one of the Chitauri scepters and just started firing and shooting other Chitauri. I thought that was great. Also, really loved the scene where Captain America was speaking to the police officers, and the Chitauri come and he just starts taking them out. I thought that was very funny. The police officer wouldn't listen to him, and then he like just destroys like a few Chitauri invaders, and then the police officer did exactly what he wanted, what Captain America wanted them to do. I loved that scene. That was another one of my favorite funny scenes in the movie. But the whole New York City battle was great. I loved the scene between Iron Man and Loki, where Loki throws Iron Man out the window, and then Iron Man quickly gets on his Mark 7 armor, and then he saves, and then he shoots Loki with the repulsor blast, and I thought that was great. And then there was the battle between Hulk and Loki on Stark Towers. I thought it was great. Basically, I loved Iron Man when he just, it was early in the battle. I don't think the rest of the Avengers were in New York City. I think it was only him. He just flies up towards the portal and just starts shooting Chitauri ships. I thought that was great. And when he was, again, in later part in the New York City battle, he was flying around with the part we saw in the trailer where he was just shooting ships and they were flying all over the place. I loved that. But just that's the thing I love about this movie. All the characters had equal moments. They all had their time on the screen where they showed us how badass they were and how awesome they were. That's what I loved about this movie. Not one character had more screen time than the other. It was kind of equal, really. And then I also loved the scene in the middle. This is one of the other best action scenes. On the Hellcarrier, when Loki's possessed agents come to free him, and they take out, Hawkeye shoots one of the engines with his one of those explosive arrows, and it blows up. And Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk because of that explosion. That gets him kind of angry. And he's after Black Widow, and then Thor fights Hulk. I thought was great. And then Thor threw his hammer at Hulk, and Hulk can't pick it up because Thor is the only one that can hold the hammer, and I thought that was funny. And then Thor is standing there. Hulk is like charging him. He's waiting for his hammer to come flying into his hand, and it does. And then he attacks Hulk. They're fighting each other. I thought that was great. And then Hulk ran and jumped on one of those pilots one of those planes that was shooting at him, and then he fell off the ship, and then Thor got caught in the cell, and then that's how he was ejected out of the ship. And I love the scene where when Iron Man was trying to fix the engines, and then Captain America was hanging on that one rope, and then Loki's possessed S.H.I.E.L.D. agents were shooting at Captain America with their rifles. I thought that was great. And Captain America was fighting them. I thought that was awesome. And I loved, also in that scene, it was going from like character to character, and then the other characters I was focusing on was Hawkeye and Black Widow fighting each other. And I love that. And then it was also showing Agent Coulson, some of Agent Coulson's death when Loki stabbed him. So that was pretty much all the action scenes throughout the entire movie. Also, another scene that comes to my mind really quickly was when Captain America jumped into that building in New York City, and he was fighting Chitauri, and they ripped off his helmet, his mask, whatever you want to call it, and the bomb like exploded, and he came flying out through the window, and he crashed onto one of those cars. I thought that was great. But just this whole movie was really awesome. And another scene with Captain America and Thor when they were fighting the Chitauri, and Captain America got shot, and the Thor just took his hammer and hit one of the cars and went rolling back and forth, and it hit the Chitauri. I thought that was great too. So you could basically call every single scene in this movie my favorite. I really did. And then there were some other interesting scenes where the Avengers were talking with each other. Like I said before, I love the scene with Iron Man and Loki, with Tony Stark and Loki talking to each other. I thought that was great, even though Tony Stark was trying to stall Loki. But anyway, guys, there you have it. There were some of my favorite scenes in the movie. Like I said before, my favorite scene of all time was that continuous shot of all the Avengers in the New York City battle, fighting the Chitauri. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments, what was your favorite scene of the Avengers. I'd really love to hear it, whether it was funny or action. Just let me know. I have more videos on the way. I'm running out of time here, so this is all about Mike 18 with the best scenes of the Avengers. Bye, guys.